Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Welcome to yet another scintillating episode of Highdeology. Yeah. Oh, all right. I think I've got everything nearby here that I need to get my day started. I got coffee, I've got cigarettes, got legal tobacco, got a drink. Yeah, it's a dad cup, but from the pets. See, this one was from Cricket. That's supposed to be skinny me sitting next to Cricket there. And then it says, Dad, no matter what life throws at you, at least you don't have ugly children. Love your favorites. There you go. It's true. Can't argue with the mug when it's right. Barcode's still on the bottom, is it? It is. Sell out? Say what? Say what? Fan from Saudi Arabia? You might want to ixnay on the bixnay, you know what I mean? I don't want to get you in trouble, man. I'm always spooked when somebody tells me that they're joining me for some crazy totalitarian religious state that beheads people in the square. I'm always like, dude, what if I say some shit? And like, dude's neighbors hear me saying that shit. And then he's all like, they rat him out to fucking whoever, you know? And then you end up fucking kneeling in the square with a sword over your head. You'll worry? Well, yeah, now I'll worry too. At least you're not in the South anymore. I guess that's true. Looking good. I don't think so. I don't think so, buddy. Is this stream even legal in Saudi Arabia? That's what I don't know, dude. That just makes me worry more. No, I'm just playing with you, man. You got to forgive a little bit of fun poking. Like I'm a dude who spent most of his life within 30 miles of where he was born, you know, so having somebody listening to me in Saudi Arabia is novel. Hello, Pranab. So are you aware, Pranab, that Kale made a visit to one of these streams the other night? Dude, I've been waiting for you to pop back in. Yeah. It was good stuff, dude. It was good times. It took me a minute to figure out what was going on. I thought for I thought for a second that you were like drunk or something. I was like, dude, is Pranab drunk? And I was like, dude, this can't be Pranab. It's okay. We kept it PG until he said he was leaving. So I did a good job. I was a good internet uncle. What did he say? He was like, hello, a bunch of times. And I was like, he was like, can you see me? Can you read what I'm telling you? I was stuff like that. And I was like, oh, no, what's up, Pranab? And he was like, I'm Pranab's son. And but he didn't put the apostrophe S, so I thought it said I'm Pranab's son. And then I was like, oh. And then it clicked, and I was like, wait a minute. Are you on your dad's computer? He's like, I'm on my tablet. I was like, okay, I know what we're dealing with here. I know what we got. It was funny, though. He didn't hang out for very long. I think I bored him. I told him to mind what you say and to be good. Dude, it was past midnight, and that mofo was supposed to be in bed at 9. Dude, I'm telling you. He gonna be... I tried to tell him. I asked him, I was like, does your dad know you're chilling online right now? And he was like, yeah. He snuck his tablet in his bedroom. Oh, man. Oh, boy. I'm Pranab, son. Snitch Paul? I didn't snitch. Well, dude, what? I had to snitch him. It was too funny. He's been in trouble in the last week, yeah. He's probably reaching that age, man. He's gonna start testing. Gonna start poking the boundaries and seeing where the weak spots are. Yeah, he snitched himself. What color is my cat? I got a black cat. Yeah, I figured out what was going on pretty quick. That he was, he just had a tablet or your phone or something, and he was signed in and on your thing. And he didn't understand. He was smart enough to find the video and watch it, though. I haven't gone back and watched that video, and I shudder to think, like, what was I talking about while he was sitting there listening? Whoops. I'm hoping it was just something benign, some normal little Highdeology rant. It was funny, though. We had a good laugh. It would be funny if Pranab Jr. started decaffing everyone, dude. That would have been pretty dope. I mean, if he was gonna get in trouble anyway, he may as well have gone for the whole enchilada, So I can see everything you're doing. He was grounded every day for the number of videos he watched. 32 videos, 32 days grounded. Dang. Hey, dude, you gotta lay down the law sometimes. That'll learn him. Dude, nobody wants to be grounded for 30 days. 32 days in the dungeon, man. Hey, that's why you listen to your parents. Yeah. I mean, that's probably a good idea, Pranab. How can you even be grounded during quarantine times? Dude, kids love playing on their phones, and they love playing their video games and shit. You're grounded from that. Yeah, no TV, no Netflix, no Xbox. Yeah. You're going to be reading for a month. We need more parents like Pranab out there that are watching out for their kids and watching what their kids are fucking doing. Throw him in the oubliette. He can read and do his schoolwork and chores. He's getting very versed at doing the dishes, vacuuming the floors, sweeping. Yeah. Man, you're giving me flashbacks, bro. You have a similar parenting style to my parents. I was very versed in those things as well. And being grounded. Kill the birds in the background? Why? I like the birds. What's your problem with the birds? What problem do you have with a bird? Yeah, it does sound like a couple of J's, huh? Try to see if I can see where they're perched. They're up in them trees back there somewhere. No, I love birds. I love hearing them. Oh, snap. He got on Fortnite and his grades slipped. Oh, dude. A 92 to a 16? That means no more Fortnite right there. Yeah, dude, I can't even imagine, like, my parents having to contend with modern video gaming and shit. Like, it was already, like, by the time I was a teenager especially, it was already all I wanted to do. And I can't imagine it being, like, that level or more when I was, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Unbelievable. The amount of distracting, crazy shit that kids are faced with. Yep, I built him a badass gaming computer because his grades were awesome. Then he started gaming and it all went downhill. Yeah, I mean, but you know what, dude? That's a good lesson for him to learn that a lot of kids don't learn, which is, like, in order for you to have the good times, you've got to do your work, That it seems like a simple lesson, but there are grown-ass fucking adults that have not learned that lesson, that don't know how to fucking parse out their good times with their work times, And, him learning that at an early age and shit is going to help him as an adult because that's the fucking way the world is. I ain't got to tell you that. You don't do your work, you don't get to play, It's just the way it be. Ironic that this stream is keeping me from doing your homework. Yeah, I mean, hey, we can all learn a little something. This is also the crappy thing. Before the pandemic, he always played outside with his friends. He prefers playing outside, but now he's stuck inside. Besides being grounded, he has horrible asthma. That sucks, dude. COVID has fucked over a lot of people. I think kids have gotten missed in all of it. Like, I very rarely hear anybody talking about the fact that there were a profound amount of school children in this country who depended on their free or reduced school lunch as their one predictable meal a day, who have not been to school in 5, 6 months. So what does that mean? They've been eating. Some states have done like a Meals on Wheels program for disadvantaged students. Like I remember hearing in Washington, they had a Meals on Wheels kind of thing where they would deliver the lunch to the kids on a truck, but not every state has that. I mean, that's nice. Like I said, there are some counties that are trying to address this idea, but for every county that's doing something to address it, there's a county that's pretending it doesn't exist. And what it means is that there are fucking, like, thousands of children that are going hungry. What up, Marshall? My name is Marshall Mathers, and I'm an alcoholic. I have a disease, and they don't know what to call it, so grab your wallet, because I'm coming up quick to strip your cash. If you don't have the resources for food, you might not have the resources to go pick it up. I mean, yeah, that's true. It's just... I don't know. Terrible stuff. Just watched an interview with an investigative reporter who files reports in Flint. Kids are forgetting their ABCs and adults are getting cancer. The news acts like it's all over. Yeah. So for the last 2 weeks, I can actually catch these lives. I got put on the rotation now, so I'm home working for the last 2 weeks. That's cool. That's good news. Blankies for all. You ever think the inspiration for D'Angelo Bailey ever reached out to Eminem after he got famous? You're talking about his bully. His bully actually sued him for that song. I don't think he won anything, but the real D'Angelo Bailey sued him for that song. Yeah, because he mentioned him in it, and I think he probably got a little bit of money. Yeah, I know. He's also sued by his mother for talking about what a fucking pillhead she was. You think foreign aid is a good idea if you have people starving in your own nation? I don't know that you should really be trying anything to give anything to anyone else until that's fixed. Well, what if the stability of that nation is necessary to the free flow of money to a number of corporations that helped get you elected, though? I mean, come on. Kale just gave me the oh shit look when I told him I was talking to Paul. He's like, uh-oh. Digital Uncle Paul's gonna rat me out. Too late, Kale, sorry. Well, in his defense, I'll tell you this. He was polite and he was cool about it. He didn't say anything rude or, he's a polite kid. I got an online debate with some people today because I said American freedom is an illusion and most other comparable countries have the same amount of freedom as us. Am I wrong? I mean, it depends. Freedom is like a totally esoteric concept that means different things to different people. And so I don't even know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. That whether or not America has more freedom than any other place seems like something that I don't know. It just seems like something. It's like third grade politics to me. Like, define freedom. What is freedom? What does freedom mean? How do you quantify how much freedom we have versus how much freedom somebody in Great Britain has, or somebody in Germany has, or somebody in South Africa has? The best, we're in like a 20-way freedom tie. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I think that most of what we call the Western world and a lot of what we call the Eastern world has been duped by the same fucking lie that most Americans have been duped by. The whole kind of American exceptionalism, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, someday you too will be rich kind of mythology that keeps everybody pretending they believe in all this shit. I think that exists pretty much worldwide now. Sorry. Using you guys like a mirror to clean the crusties out of my eyeballs. You're gonna have to deal with that. People don't have to be rich, just twice as rich as they are now. Yeah. People don't have to be rich. Freedom is when you can work minimum wage until you die. Yeah, there's freedom. That's freedom for you. I don't even know what... Like, the concept doesn't even fucking interest me anymore. Because it's been so abused and misused and misinterpreted and redefined that I don't even know what people are talking about when they say my freedom anymore. Like, my freedom to what? My freedom to blithely ignore the planet. My freedom to continue raping it. My freedom to continue being exploited. My freedom to continue wanting for things that are considered to be human rights in pretty much every other fucking country. My freedom to not have the money to ever move out of the horribly dilapidated neighborhood that I live in. My freedom to have no job. My freedom to have no livelihood. My freedom for low prices at Walmart, but not too low. Low enough. Freedom to refuse vaccines. Yeah. Good old freedom. Yeah, my freedom to live every day of my adult life and die in crushing debt. Where do I sign up? Greatest country in the goddamn world. Mindy's in debt for $90K for getting her master's degree. Yeah. I mean, that's about the way it works. That's about what it sounds like. Do you think politicians have an obligation to be purely America first, or do you think they should always be aware and factor in the poor and deprived of other nations? Given the amount of output that this country has, I think it would be absolutely, completely, and utterly without moral compass and heartless for a country with such abundance to rely on goods imported from countries that have nothing, like we do now. So I feel like a country or group of countries that has as much money as the Western world does, continuing to find excuses to exploit the third world is beyond unethical. Is that the FBI chopper? They're coming to take me away, haha. They found the bunker. Time to dive underneath a table. Hide. Do you know anyone who's had COVID-19? A few of my coworkers got it. I had a couple members of my close family get it. Couple members of my coworkers and friends, close family, came down with it. So yeah, I've known some people that have gotten COVID-19. Those of you that have been watching me long enough to remember my ex and friend Ashley, she got it. She works a customer service job where she lives now, and came down with it and spent a couple of weeks recovering from it. So yeah. People in China and India are escaping abject poverty. I wonder how. Well, I mean, both of those countries are in the midst of an ongoing industrialization. 3 of my family members have gotten COVID. All were mild cases, thank goodness. Found out my grandma had it on Christmas. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of people. Like, if you really talk to people that you know, it's ridiculous the amount of people that are once or twice removed from you that you'll find out have had it. Pretty ridiculous. Pretty crazy. My grandma had it, got super sick, and her daughter is still against the vaccine. Some people, dude. Some fucking people are just not gonna fucking learn no matter what. They'll be fucking vaccine denying their way to the grave on a ventilator, you know? They should make a giant COVID grave so people can see how many died from it. A giant COVID grave? Yeah. How about a COVID cemetery? That's actually a pretty decent idea. Put up a COVID cemetery and put up fucking 400,000 headstones in it so people can get a fucking grasp of how many people have died from this to date in a year. Like, that might actually work. Ooh. That first fucking hit of the morning. Like the Vietnam Wall, yeah. Or Arlington National Cemetery. You know, these types of displays tend to, but like, you realize what an insanely huge piece of land you would need to lay out a regular sized headstone for people, for 400,000 people. Never mind the logistics of actually moving their bodies there if the, you know, family members decided they wanted to do that. But I think doing that would wake up a lot of people in this country. If you had a visual aid of headstones that you could go visit. Now, there are going to be some people that just deny that those people ever existed and shit. There's some people that are so deeply entrenched in the conspiracy world that truth doesn't matter anymore. But your average kind of like soccer mom, anti-vaxxer, you know, if they were to walk into a national COVID death cemetery that they see is constantly being added to and has 400,000 names and headstones in it, might be enough. Might just be enough. Ooh. Forgive me for like 30 seconds. I just got a fantastic wave of morning nausea that I got to deal with. I think I might be pregnant. Oh, this is something that I deal with. Excuse me. God, it's gross. Something that I deal with pretty much every day, and have since I was a teenager, and is the main reason why I've never been able to reliably get myself on a schedule where I eat breakfast. Who's the father? I don't know. I need to go on Maury. Allergies, tons. Allergic to everything. Constant post-nasal drip, constant sniffles, constant, you know, kind of back of my throat cough. So yeah, I'm allergic to literally everything. Pet dander, human dander, fucking pollen, mold, dust, everything. I'm allergic to everything. Benadryl is my friend. On days where it's too much for me to handle, I pop some Benadryl and try and stay awake. Heard smoking weed increases mucus production. It's probably true. I do a lot of that. I am allergic to the chat as well. So doing these has been, you know, I sacrifice my body on the altar of Highdeology for you guys. Not allergic to peanuts. Interestingly enough, with all of the, like, respiratory allergens that I mark up on, I have no food allergies that I know of. Or medicinal allergies. So, I can pop any pill that you give me, and I can eat any food you put in front of me, but I can't breathe the air. Cobalt, sure. I do have a cobalt allergy, so most people probably would get a reaction if they eat too many nuts. Maybe. I don't know. You're doing the VR thing there, Pranab? I still haven't tried it. I'm too spooked. I think it'll be disorienting and not very fun for me. I don't want to put it on. I've had a fucking VR headset since well before VR was a thing, really. Like, I got a fucking not an Oculus. What's the other one? A fucking HTC Vive. Back when I was on DP, and it's still in its box. I've never set it up. I've never taken it out because I'm you know, I don't like being disoriented and shit. So I'm a little spooked of the VR shit. Oh yeah, dude, Lost Highway. Yeah. You should check out any other Lynch films that you haven't seen. I can't recommend highly enough my favorite Lynch film, Mulholland Drive. If you enjoyed the spookiness of the Mystery Man scene, then Mulholland Drive will scratch that itch for you as well. I love David Lynch. What's a good obscure zombie movie? And it depends on like what you want obscure. Like if I'm going to evangelize a zombie movie that I think you maybe haven't seen, I'm going to say Dead Alive, which is an early Peter Jackson film, kind of a lower budget film made in New Zealand, and probably one of the most explicitly over-the-top gory films that you'll ever watch. One of my favorite zombie films of all time. Definitely has a strong comedic element that runs through it. So if that bothers you, then, you know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, Dead Alive. It's also billed as Brain Dead as well. I believe in New Zealand and Australia and shit, it was marketed as Brain Dead, but I believe there was some kind of conflict with that name in the United States, so its United States release was called Dead Alive, which I actually think is a better name for the movie than Brain Dead. But if you're looking for it and having trouble finding it, you might try searching for Brain Dead instead. Dude, there's so many scenes that I could sit here and ruin for people. I mean, that movie is just chock filled with memorable practical effects magic and gore, memorable gags, memorable characters. It's great. It's on YouTube for free. Cool. Well, that's good to know. That makes it easy. Roger Ebert is a smug hack. Well, he's not really anything anymore. Roger Ebert is worm food now. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you're being uncharitable to him. I don't know that I would go so far as to call him a hack. The dude was an eloquent writer, and you can't take away the fact that he spent 30 some odd years chronicling America's popular movies for us, you know, and writing a lot of words and writing a lot of reviews about it. So the fact that I disagree with him on a lot of movies, and the fact that I kind of think he's, I don't know, like later in his life, he started scrubbing and rewriting a lot of his old reviews, and many of those old reviews have no mention of the previous review. It'd be one thing if he did like, you know, hey, here's a series where I'm going to go back and look at reviews that I've made in the past, and if I find one that I disagree with, I'll write a new review and tell you why I was wrong. You know, that would have been like a humble way of going about updating his views on certain classic films. But yeah, Roger Ebert was very fond of hating a movie and then being wrong. You know, he took the gamble that people were going to hate it. He was wrong about it. People ended up loving it. It's like Alien, right? Is my favorite example of this. The movie Alien, there's actually a copy of it sitting in the Library of Congress due to its importance in aesthetics and artistic expression as an American piece of art. So there is a copy forever enshrined of Alien in the Library of Congress. When it came out, Roger Ebert panned it. 10 years later, when it was firmly cemented as a modern masterpiece of both sci-fi and horror and one of the most memorable films ever made, he rewrote his Alien review with barely a mention of having reviewed it before, and just wrote glowing, wonderful, awesome things about it. Yeah, I mean, Aliens is my favorite film of all time, so I get you there, Pranab. Like, I prefer Aliens over Alien, but that's what makes him a hack. Well, sure, I guess. I mean, to me, I'm not a big fan of listening to critics as much as time as I spend doing it, and as much time as I will spend doing it in the future. Um, I don't really care to listen to critics very often. Very rarely do I read the reviews on a movie or video game or piece of music before I give it a try myself. I like to trust my own fucking instincts on shit. The movie reviewers and people that talk about movies that I do like tend to be people that, um, you know what I mean, aren't necessarily using a traditional like 5-star review structure or whatever. They're just kind of like talking about the movie. Like hearing somebody give their thoughts on a movie and critique it from their own personal standpoint is different than what a lot of critics do for me. And it makes it hard for me to find people that I really care to listen to when it comes to that shit. Jeremy Johns, yeah. I've seen a couple of his videos. He was a guy that TJ, when I was first starting Cinema for Cynics, TJ was talking about Jeremy Johns a lot because he was, enjoying a meteoric rise in his popularity at that time as a movie reviewer. And I went and looked at his channel and stuff. And to be quite frank with you, I'm not trying to poop on Jeremy Johns or whatever, but I looked at his channel and I was like, okay, so I'm going to make a list of things to not do from this. I can't really hang with Jeremy Johns' like put on upbeatness like that. I'm always turned off by that. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Like and subscribe, hit that bell so you know what's coming next as well. And people that are, I don't know, dude. People that, like, when a video comes at me like that, with this kind of like fake ass energy and shit, I'm just like, I like this one movie channel where they have a filmmaker and a psychiatrist watch and comment on movies. It's not really reviewing per se, but I derive a great deal more insight from them. That's cool. That sounds fun. You like Cinemasins? I've watched some of them and I enjoy them. I think it's an interesting way to critique a film by going through and just literally showing all the little brief moments that make no sense to you or all the little plot holes or whatever. It's an interesting way of stripping down critique of a film to just all of the things that bugged you about a film, which I enjoy. It's different than most reviews in that it gets a gold star for me for that. But I'm not a regular watcher of Cinemasins or really any critic channels. Do you care for the Rotten Tomatoes rating? I'll go look at it out of curiosity sometimes, but as far as like whether or not I watch a film, it has no bearing to me. Like, I'll watch any movie that somebody is willing to make and put in front of me. I'll give every movie a chance. I think if you're like letting Rotten Tomatoes ratings dissuade you from watching films, then you're missing out on a lot of interesting films. Digging the 90s era tracksuit, Paul? It's not a tracksuit, it's a hoodie. It's just a hoodie, dude. It's like a hoodie, and I've got a cool shirt on, too. Double dipping on the swag today. I like to look at them after watching the film. You only listen to Rotten Potatoes. That's a good point. That's a good idea. The Burbs. You familiar with Chris Stuckman? He recently did a tell-all about growing up in a Jehovah's Witness home. I've heard of Chris Stuckman. I probably couldn't pick him out of a lineup, though. What's your favorite Robin Williams movie? This is going to sound really weird, and there's a lot of really fucking classic movies to choose from here. But I have always been a giant fan of the movie What Dreams May Come. There's a, kind of a heavy religious element to that movie, but that's no turn off to me. I think it's a beautifully conceived, beautifully shot, and beautifully acted film. So it's definitely. I actually watched another one of my favorite Robin Williams films last night with Amelia, which is Dead Poets Society. And that movie, like, I don't evangelize it as like this brilliant from start to finish kind of film, but it really was an important movie to me when I was a kid. A lot of the themes that it touches on are themes that, while I don't think that the movie is entirely responsible for putting those ideas in my head, it certainly had a developmental effect on me. There are a number of scenes where Charles Keating, played by Robin Williams, who is an English professor at a stodgy, boys-only private academy, the movie kind of hammers you over the head with its message, and that can kill a movie. But this movie in particular, I think, is very skillfully directed and very skillfully acted. And the message of this film is to not be a conformist. Talking about Dead Poets Society here, for anybody who, I know I didn't mention the name but once at the beginning of this, so anybody lost, we're talking about the film Dead Poets Society here. And the whole point of that film is that, Robin Williams' character comes into this boys' school in the 50s and sees how regimented all the boys are being trained to be and how bored all of them are, and wants to inspire them to think differently. And so he comes into this environment of rigid rules and rigid control, and he gives the group of boys who he's responsible for teaching, or at least some of them, a taste of nonconformity. And he builds his lesson plan around that while teaching them about poetry and great literature. This idea of learning to, like, I wish I could quote it directly, but there's a great scene in the movie where he has the boys, 3 of them, he has them all standing in the courtyard, and he picks 3 of them at random, and he has them start walking. He said, "You guys just walk, just go for a stroll." And when they start walking, and at first they're walking at their own pace, and they're going different directions, but eventually as they keep walking, they slowly kind of fall into lockstep with one another. And all of a sudden, they're basically marching like soldiers, and all of the other boys who are watching this thought experiment start clapping along to the beat of their feet. And then he stops them and he says, do you notice how at the beginning of this, you were all marching to your own beat? You all had your own stride, your own swagger. But slowly, as the exercise went on, you succumbed to the instinct to conform, and all of a sudden you were marching like soldiers. And then he looks at the other boys who laugh at the 3, that are, and he's like, "I'm not trying to pick on you guys, and he said, all of you out there laughing," he said, if you think that they're dumb for marching in lockstep with one another, then ask yourself, why were you clapping? And he goes on to tell them in the course of that lesson that they need to learn to trust themselves. That they need to learn that there are people out there who will always disdain an outsider, that will always disdain a new perspective, and that they have to learn to trust their own perspective despite that, to not let their fucking opinions and their closely held beliefs be dictated to them by what is popular, and to not be bullied socially or otherwise into believing something that you don't believe, to trust yourself, to trust in what you know about the world. And I can't tell you how profound that was to me as a young man, to watch this movie that had young men in it that were my age, and to hear an adult talking like that. Because I was never told that. You know, I was never explicitly told, like, it's important for you to trust yourself. It's important for you to have your own way of looking at things. It's important for you to trust that inner voice. And it's important for you to stand by what you believe, despite what other people might think about you. And that's really what that movie is about. It's about intolerance and conformity and how destructive it is in the lives of the people who are ruled by it. Missed a super chat. Thank you, Otello. Where did I miss the super chat? I'm scrolling back and I ain't seeing that. Oh, wait a minute. Did I pass it? There it is. There it is. There it is. Ever seen that German movie, Funny Games? I don't think I have, no. Paul, why should we take you seriously when you're provenly wrong? I don't know, dude. Paul is provenly wrong, dude. Oh, man. I don't know how you ever come back from that. The suicide scene always felt too real for me. Yeah, it is one of the more kind of like explicit suicide scenes in a movie. Not to fucking ruin it for people, but it's not necessarily explicit and gory, but it's very, very, I don't know how else to put it other than beautifully shot, beautifully performed, beautifully conceived, and feels very real. Emotionally explicit. That's a good way of putting it. What movie are you people talking about? I just came in. We're talking about Dead Poets Society. Unironically, Robin Williams had a good role in Law & Order SVU episode. I didn't know that. Spent the day thinking about claustrophobia in the Body Snatchers movie and how I don't see that kind of thing in movies today. Claustrophobia is still used in films today, but it's rarer. Oh, Kale's bike got stolen. Well, that's another way you learn to appreciate things, I guess. That's one of them things about being a fucking parent. Like, I don't know how I would deal with it, you know? I'm kind of glad I don't have to. I'm glad I don't have to instill appreciation in another person. It's not part of my job here on the planet. And I'm okay with that. Because I really wouldn't know how to do it properly. I think movies today are just legitimately worse, or is it nostalgia and changing taste? I don't think movies today are legitimately worse. So I would say nostalgia and changing taste. When it comes to art, anybody who's telling you that we're living in a fucking dead period for art, or they can't find any good music anymore, or they don't make movies like they used to, or video games suck now. What you're talking to is an intellectually lazy person who is more interested in jerking off nostalgically than they are doing the hard work of finding the good artists in a sea of bullshit, which has always been what you've had to do if you've been into art. You've always had to wade hip deep in the corporate muck to find the good shit. And it's the same today as it always has been. Really starting to like Post Malone and Childish Gambino. I'm telling you, man, modern music is amazing. There's a lot of amazing boundary-pushing artists right now. The genre that is kind of at the forefront of the culture is hip-hop, and there are so many just like exciting hip-hop artists right now if you're into that genre. Like Lil Skies is one of my go-to modern rappers. He's dropping a new album, I think tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I've been watching his Twitter. He's been teasing it. And I'm really looking forward to getting to sit down and listen to that shit. I like Tyler a lot. I'm not his biggest fan. There are people that are way more into Tyler than I am, but I really do like Tyler a lot. Another artist whose career I'm watching really closely that we've talked about here before, Ski Mask. Um, I don't know, dude. He's just like, talk about a dude that is marching to the beat of his own drummer. That's why I like Mario Judah too. That's why I give Mario Judah props when everybody else kind of makes fun of him or sees him as a meme. Like he's a dude that, like he's obviously listening to the sound of the day, but he's determined to do it his own fucking way. You got me into RA the Rugged Man. I like him a lot. Dude is a really technically talented rapper. One of my closest friends, she's Colombian, so I'm trying to listen to some Latin music. I'm trying to step outside my comfort zone and not be locked into my 90s rock and metal. Dude, I was in that fucking zone for a long time. For a long time, my musical taste was basically like 80s pop music, 90s alt rock, and 90s hip hop and 80s hip hop. So like two decades worth of music was basically all I've spent my time listening to. And I really kind of like shut my brain off to modern music because I took this stupid tact because I looked at what was popular at the time, which when I tuned out, a lot of the shit that was becoming popular is like Christina Aguilera, you know, Britney Spears, and not to denigrate those two ladies, because in retrospect, both of them made a couple of songs at least that were pretty fucking banging, particularly Britney. Like, I rolled my eyes a lot at Britney Spears when she was uber popular and first came out, but I cannot deny that there's a couple of bangers in her catalog, dude. Let's put it that way. Toxic is an eternal banger for me. That song is like, I can hear it in my head right now. It's great. Yeah, free Britney, dude. I feel bad that Britney's like under economic dominion of her parents for no fucking reason. I love talking about music. I fear that it gets a little repetitive because I'm not like some kind of professional music historian or music critic and shit. And so I end up talking about a lot of the same artists and shit when it comes up, and probably makes these repetitive for people. But you know, I like talking music. I'm definitely like a fan of music, and not a professional critic of music, and not a fucking person who'd even be really all that interested in critiquing music. I just like music, you know. I like discovering new sounds. It's a part about myself that I had to rediscover. Thoughts on Anthony Fantano? Nice guy. Every time I've interacted with Anthony Fantano has been cool. I don't really agree with him a lot on his reviews, but that's okay. He a good dude. Deep Thinny Fried Tano. I think I remember TJ mentioning tripping with you and Scotty and mentioning King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. You get real into them at all? Yeah. I mean, TJ did introduce me to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Strange band name, strange band, but yeah, they're in my fucking rotation now. Pretentious? Like, what's pretentious about fucking King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard? They're like a completely like indie lo-fi fucking band that doesn't sound like anybody else. You're just pissed off because they know about the rattlesnake and you don't, man. Rattlesnake, 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 rattles me, rattlesnake. Good shit. Evil serpent, devil serpent. You'll be rattling till you're dead. Most plebs get it wrong, yeah. Of course they do. I'm gonna have that shit stuck in my head for the rest of the day now. Thanks, bro. Yeah. It is one of them songs, man. It'll lodge its way up there. Cool video, too, if you like psychedelia. When you listen to a high-energy song in your car, do you ever travel 10 to 20 miles per hour over the speed limit? No. I'm a pretty careful driver. Dun, 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 dun. Why is TJ such a not careful driver? I don't know. Ask TJ. I don't know. Is your wife a good driver? Yes, she is. Also a careful driver. That's all it takes to be a good driver, is to be a defensive, careful driver. Them dogs. No, that's definitely not Dinor. You must be new around here if you think that's a Dinor bark. Dinor has a very specific bark that is very easy to... And you guys have heard it enough, too. The last barks all the time out here. My friend says it's better to be an aggressive, offensive driver that's mindful of their surroundings than an overcautious one, but I disagree. I mean, there is such a thing as overcaution, but no. It is not better to be an aggressive, driver than it is to be a careful and defensive driver. Sorry, that's just all there is to it. Everybody thinks they know what the right amount of aggressive is, and then those aggressive people cause horrible car accidents. In the city I live in, you have to be aggressive, otherwise you're going to get stuck for hours. I mean, there's a certain amount of that you have to do. Like in LA, for example, is the place that I've driven extensively, where you have to have a certain amount of decisiveness and aggressiveness to your driving or you'll never get where you're going. So I understand what you're saying, but I think that there's a way to temper that with defensiveness. There is a way to drive in LA, and it might be a little fucking longer than your more aggressive ways, that is safer. And you don't necessarily have to drive that way in other places. 101 to 405. Yeah. That, if I'm not mistaken, and it's been a while since I've been in LA and driven there, you're talking about the interchange where it's like a literal fucking 24-lane freeway or some shit. It's like 12 lanes going one way, 12 lanes going the other way, and a million fucking things merging onto and off of it. I'm 99% sure that's the 405 downtown, right? That's the 405 to downtown LA. Fucking insane. It is one of the most crazy things that you'll ever do as a driver. You'll be in literal stopped traffic, needing to merge left to exit or right to exit, and both left and right of you, cars are going zoom, 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 doing 75, 80. And you're at a complete stop with your turn signal on, going like, okay, nope, zoom, 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 zoom. All right, maybe not, nope, zoom, zoom. It's fucking insane. I wouldn't recommend it. I've done a lot of driving in the Bay Area as well, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Bay Area during rush hour. I remember the worst I ever got it was I actually lived in the Bay Area. I lived in San Francisco, in downtown San Francisco, for almost a month. I was at a training for my last job. That was like a daily class that I had to attend for almost a month, about 3 weeks or so. And when I left that, I was so eager to be done with it and get home. But the class let out at rush hour, basically, or not the class. The class let out a little before rush hour, but by the time I got back to my hotel, checked out, got my car packed and everything, and got on the road, it was dead ass like 4:45, and it took me longer to get out of San Francisco than it took me to drive the rest of the way back home to the Central Valley. I spent more time stuck in traffic in the San Francisco area getting out of San Francisco at rush hour than I did making the 3-hour drive home from the Bay Area. It was not cool. That's the worst I ever got it in San Francisco. But I have a little bit of experience driving in insane fucking traffic. Dude, I don't mean to downplay Utah drivers, but I gotta tell you this, as a guy that's traveled around to quite a few states now, you hear that from every local. Oh, be careful out here. Louisiana drivers are ridiculous. Oh, be careful, California drivers. Oh, be careful, Arizona drivers. Oh, be careful, these Washington drivers, man. Every fucking local will tell you that their state has particularly bad drivers. You know what the truth is? Every state is filled with morons that shouldn't be driving cars. That's just, you can't escape it. You got to share the road with it, which is why I'm a defensive driver. Nah, it's the Cali drivers, right. As a Cali boy, I would agree. You know what I mean? As a born and raised Cali boy, I would agree. But that's because probably 80% of the really bad drivers that I've had run-ins with have been in California. But over the balance of my life, probably 80% of the driving that I've done has been in California as well. So, you know what I mean? The easiest drives I ever did was in Mexico. I've never done a lot of driving in Mexico, so I wouldn't think that it would be all that great in Mexico, but hey, you know. I've lost 2 cars to the California freeways. Lucky to be alive, yeah. I mean, the freeway 99, which runs right through my little hometown, runs right up the gut of Central California, and basically is the main artery connecting Northern California to Southern California and all the inland empire in California, is one of the deadliest roads in the world if you take it into account. 99 is it's a graveyard, basically. When you drive 99 through California, you will be astonished by the amount of little shrines that you see along the road to people, where people have set up like a little cross or something right where a car accident happened and somebody was fucking killed. Pretty insane. Paul, have you ever read the Shining novel? If so, how do you think it compares to the Kubrick movie? I've read The Shining a number of times. I really like the novel. I don't think it compares very favorably to the Kubrick movie. I prefer Kubrick's vision to King's original vision for it, but I do like the novel a lot. It's just a very different novel. You know, you'll notice the same characters and you'll notice some of the same themes, but it has a very different tone to it than Kubrick found in it. And that's what I like about the Kubrick film, is the tone. Most of all. Rattlesnake. Rattlesnake. Rattlesnake, rattlesnake. Sorry, I just had to stand up and do my stretches. In the morning, I'm pretty stiff and creaky, and I gotta like allow my muscles to kind of relax a little bit because it's fucked, man. My back is fucked. Of all the problems that I foresee facing medically in my future, I think my back is going to be the one that causes me the most pain and anguish because it does. Like every day. Every day I'm in pain. Every day I'm in pain, pretty much 24 hours a day. And I've learned to mitigate that pain by sitting in horrible positions and, stretching and trying different chairs and getting different beds and stuff that are supposed to be better for that shit. And the truth of the matter is that those things have helped very little, if at all. The stretches I think that I do are probably the most important thing that I do, but they're also the most painful thing that I do. Forcing my back to kind of bend in ways that it doesn't want to is really the only relief that I get, and it fucking sucks. And I just get the feeling that as I get older, it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. I don't know what my sleep number is. I do some against the wall stretches. The most important stretch that I do for me is the bending at the waist decompression stretch. So I just bend at the waist and I allow the entire weight of my upper body to hang straight down, and it acts like a little mini traction for my neck and upper back, which is really where most of my problems lie. My lower back gets thrown out a lot, but it's because my upper back is twisted and fucked. And so my lower back has to compensate a lot for things that my upper back would normally be doing because it's hurt. And so working on that upper middle back kind of thing. I have used an inversion table before, limited relief on those. What I use right now, as far as an implement to help me stretch, is I had a foam roller for a long time that I used, and I actually bought kind of an upgraded version of a foam roller called a chirp wheel. You can look it up. There are 3 different sizes of it, and I use all 3. They give 3 different kinds of stretches, and when I sit down to do it, I typically will use all 3 or at least 2 of them. And it's a really painful fucking thing. It's a real painful process, but at the end of it, my back feels a little better. The chirp works. It does. Weed helps with my back pain. Mine as well. It's one of the reasons you guys see me partaking in that. One of the main reasons. Toot, 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 toot. You and I need to master our yoga and become Dulcine clones. Yeah. Dude, I'd be down. I want to be stretchy as fuck. As long as my wiener gets to be stretchy too. Yoga. Yoga wing. Yoga does help muscle pain, but you have to do it almost every day. Yeah. Well, it's something that I've had limited experience with and the few times that I have tried it, it's exacerbated some of the problems that I had. But I think I probably did the wrong level of impact yoga for me. Yeah, dude, I want to teleport as well and float in the lotus position. Dude, Dalsim is a badass. Dude literally spits fire, floats through the air, can teleport, could stretch his body. His throw is a noogie. I mean, come on. Heavy dudes seem to have benefits from DDP yoga. Yeah, I've heard of DDP yoga, and I tried a couple of exercises from it way back when, and it was lower impact than the yoga that I tried. So it would probably be worth trying for me. DDP sounds like a wrestling move. That's because it stands for Diamond Dallas Page, a wrestler. Now we're talking yoga. Now yoga is the topic of the day. DDP yoga, yeah, maybe I might hit you up for that. I might give it a shot. Have you seen this "You Cannot Kill David Arquette" documentary? DDP was in that. No, I have not. No, I have not. Have you seen? Have you heard? Do you know X obscure band that I'm into? Do you know X obscure movie that I've seen? I tried Bikram hot yoga and wanted to kill everybody in the room for making it look so easy. Yeah. I did yoga probably about like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe even longer ago, with Amelia, and she's in good shape. And so she's doing all these poses and shit. And I'm like, how the fuck are you even? And so I'm just doing what the lady in the fucking video we were following said to do, which is just do your best. Like, if you can't make this pose, just get to as close as you can. And it's the fact that you try. And so I felt like the whole time I was trying and she was just doing it. And I was just like, man. The Joe Pesci vibes. Dude, that would be a good rap name, Joe Pesci. Not exactly as good as Beauregard, but it's up there. Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci 69, yeah. One of the things that I have problems with doing these streams out here is that I light cigarettes for no reason. I just lit this cigarette and was like, what the fuck did I don't even want a cigarette right now. What is it about Highdeology that makes me want to sit here and chain smoke a whole pack of cigarettes? But when I'm not doing Highdeology, I smoke like 3 or 4 cigarettes a day. What's that about? Oh yeah, sorry. The lens flare is a little annoying. Let me go fix that for you guys. I've got a better way to fix it than moving my phone. I'll just move the sun. What do you think about that? That's how you handle it right there. That's professional streamer shit. Get out of here, son. You're not wanted. Should just keep a pack of pre-rolls on hand and smoke those instead. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll order just like a big old fat pack of pre-rolls, but I have weed out here. Like here's a problem that I'm experiencing. And this goes for weed too. This shit is dangerous for me because I vaped for a long time and I'm used to just like, because when you vape, that's what you do to not smoke cigarettes. I will sit there during a show and hit this like a vape, like over and over again, and then realize like in the last quarter of the show, like, uh-oh, I'm barely here anymore. Doesn't happen all the time, but there have been a number of shows where that's been a problem for me personally. I've got to address it. Yeah. It's the habit shit. I've got to come up with another habit that I can do on the show that doesn't necessitate fucking constantly smoking. Because I don't need nicotine. I'm at a happy place. Well, I could probably hit this a few more times, to be honest with you. I'm not hitting that super hard this morning yet, but I'm at a good place, generally. Pick my nose. I have a bug hanging or something? I don't see one. Oh, you're talking about like a new habit. That's true. I could just like dig around mine for nose goblins in front of everybody on the show now. Dude, I drink water like a fucking fish all day. I wake up in the morning, I get a big glass of water. I set it next to me wherever I am. I drink that whole motherfucker and I fill it up. And then when I start the show, I get a big glass of water and I drink it throughout the show. Like, well, I'm doing good on the waterfront. At least better than some people do, I guess. Start whittling during the show. What are you guys doing when you kill Cam randomly? These are the deep questions. Well, I won't speak for the other guys, but I assume they're doing stuff like I'm doing. I have to stand up during the show sometimes. And I don't have a camera set up that puts a shot on me when I'm standing. I have a mic arm that I can stand up with. But so typically when I kill my cam, it's because I'm having to stand up, stretch, and do whatever. Or I'm leaving the room to go take a piss or some shit, which happens. You know, the call of nature do happen. Backwoods Whittling Paul would be a great personality to make appearances. Yeah, dude. The original Backwoods Whittler, Paul Zigo. See you later, Pranab. Highdeology is like talking to the Tarantino of live streamers directly. That's true. I'm like the Tarantino of live streamers. Whatever. TJ's thing is to do a fart in the mic and poop his pants. Maybe a variation of that. That's a timeout. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. That's a timeout. That's 300 seconds in the I made no sense corner. Old prickle bush sounds like a whittler. Yeah. That's old prickle bush there. Sits on his porch all day and whittles. There's a guy I got a cane from, Stinnett Sticks. You should check it out. I bet you would love one. Dude, I want a shillelagh. I don't want a cane. I want a shillelagh. A true Irish shillelagh made from true Irish shillelagh trees that only grow in Ireland. The wonderful shillelagh trees. That's what I need. I need a fucking shillelagh. I don't even have. I have a walking stick now, but it's also my fire poking stick. It's not, it's nothing special, but it gets the job done. If you could have a relic of our time fossilized in amber for the aliens a million years from now, what would it be? I'd like to blow a load in some amber and have them discover it. Is that a possibility? Could I like carve a hole in a tree and blow a load in the tree, and then like it'll get frozen in the amber in there, and then the aliens will come and they'll find my cum? Could we do that? They crack it open and they're like, "Oh shit, what is this?" With a condom. You gonna bang a tree? I mean, if I gotta to preserve something for the aliens. But yeah, that's a good way to get cloned, because my genetic data is gonna be in there. They could look at that and they could be like, "Oh, we can rebuild this," and then it's me what gets brought back, and then I can teach the aliens about humans. You see. Do you have the tree's consent though? I mean, can a tree consent? I don't know. I'll ask. This is 2 days in a row you've mentioned dendrophilia. No, I was not responsible for the other one. The other one, somebody in the chat said dendrophilia, and then I explained what it was to people who didn't know. This one was my bad. But, you know what I mean? Like, I'm only taking responsibility for this one. Yeah, dude, the DNA cartoon from Jurassic Park. See, what happened is, this big fat guy right here named Paul at one point walked up to a tree, and he found himself a knothole, and well, he blew a load off in there. And then, millions of years later, we Thargoids came along and found his nut preserved in amber. Imagine the putrid smell, though. Nah, dude, it would like the amber. The amber preserves that shit. It would just smell like bleach, like a usual nut, Smell a little bit like bleach cleaning fluid, like a regular nut. The water is turning the frogs gay. Yeah. They just talked about butt hymens on the morning wood for like 10 minutes. Butt hymens? I mean, it's relevant enough topic, I guess. I mean, we've been talking about me blowing a load in a tree for the last 30 minutes, so it's not like I can fucking judge. We just spent like a good at least solid 15, 20 minutes discussing me fucking dropping a load in a tree. So, you know what I mean? The important issues are being discussed is what I'm going for here. behindmans. I see. Very clever. QAnon was the biggest punchline ever. I will admit that it was really kind of sad yesterday watching those Q people realize that they'd been duped. They're like, holy fuck, Q lied to us, Trump lied to us, it was all just a sham, we were used, oh my fucking God. I feel so stupid right now. It was hard to not feel bad for them. I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe a lot of those people that bought into the Q thing, I mean, really heart and soul bought into it, will learn. Like, once bitten, twice shy is not always true for human beings, but it is often true for human beings. There might be a good number of those people that, like, this was what they needed to stop the magical thinking and to start looking at things rationally and to start being skeptical about what they hear from people. And to not put stock in 4chan and its memes, you know? To not get trolled into believing something that started as a fucking meme. Some will, and that's a win. You know what I mean? You got to look at the positive side of things. You know, and a significant, probably, slice of QAnon is going to move forward more skeptically. It doesn't mean that their politics will change to something that you find palatable, but it does mean that they won't be engaging in, like, rank conspiracy theorism anymore, which is a good thing. You know? That's how people grow. Like, what else can you hope from people that are misguided by ridiculous conspiracy theory other than they grow? Like, you know, I used to believe in some conspiracy theories, especially in the early days after 9/11. I was kind of a 9/11 truther. There was so much incongruency in what happened that day that my mind sought out what turned out to be mostly a fantastical narrative. Now, I didn't believe every word of every fucking part of 9/11 trutherism, but I definitely, you know, expressed skepticism and things that, you know, turned out to be perfectly explicable. Added narratives in my mind and considered narratives that really had no backing to them. And, you know, going through that and then slowly but surely examining those positions and finding out, okay, you were wrong about this, you were wrong about this, you made a lot of assumptions about this, and this is not true, and this is probably what happened, and this explains this, and Occam's razor, and all of that shit. You know, I grew as a person because of that. You know, so that's good. Conspiracy theories can be a teaching moment for people to be involved in. It's not always bad for people to walk down some crazy conspiracy road, because a lot of people walk out of that finding out that it's bullshit. They walk out of it a better skeptic and a better consumer of media. They walk out of it like we talked about earlier with Charles Keating's class, marching to the beat of their own drummer, trusting their own opinion on things, trusting themselves to be intelligent enough to make their own minds up, and having the courage of their convictions. I look extra old in the light today, dude. I am extra old. I'm extra fucking old. Like, what do you want from me? Should I get some Just for Men gel and get rid of this gray for you? Would that make me more vibrant? Could I pretend to be like Jake Paul? Hey guys, welcome to Highdeology. It's a fucking crazy day. We're at the suicide forest in Japan. Oh, is that a dead body? Yup. What's going on, fellow kids? Dude, you want to know what one of my proudest things one of my proudest bragging rights that I have is that I have never once done the dab maneuver. You guys know what I'm talking about. The Jake Paul rap dab thing. Never done it. There's no video of me doing it. Nobody can meme on me for it. I've never done it. Never once. Never succumbed. You've ironically dabbed many times. Oof. No. Should I break it today? Should I do a dab? Now that it's culturally irrelevant to dab, should I go ahead and finally break my dab taboo and give you guys what you want? I did not do it once on a Highdeology. If you can find me doing a dab on a Highdeology, I'll admit I was wrong. But I'm telling you, I've had a very strict no dab policy from the very stop. Dude, from the very jump of dabbing, I have a very strict one. No, I'm not going to portray a dab. You can look it up, dude. Just go to YouTube and type in Jake Paul fanboy, and you will see a 12-year-old boy doing a bunch of dabs. Damn, the sun snuck back out. You bastard. Keeps on creeping. Sun keeps on creeping, creeping, creeping into the picture. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. No, teach me how to Dougie. No, you teach me how to Dougie. I don't know how to Dougie. Sorry, I never learned to Dougie. Kind of glad I didn't, because nobody ever does the Dougie no more. Do a water sprinkler. That's very close to a dab, so I shan't be doing it. The jerk was the dab when I was in school. Or the Harlem Shake. You guys remember that one? Yeah. They had that, there was that meme for a while where, yeah, people would like play that fucking EDM song that would build up, and they'd all just stand still. Do the Harlem Shake, and then they'd all just, you know, yeah, Gangnam Style. Oh, God. Man, why are you bringing back the horrors of the past to me, man? You know what the sad thing about Gangnam Style is that it actually wasn't, it was kind of a banger. Like, it was a fun song, but it just got, like, completely overplayed. I had the misfortune of being in high school when Gangnam Style was big. That's sad. I'm sorry. 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st century today. Only if you reckon time by the fucking Julian calendar or whatever the fuck, the Christian calendar. Like, if you reckon time by the birth of Jesus, then yeah, that's true. But if you reckon time as it exists as an unbroken line, it's like the fucking quadrillionth day of the 790 billionth year. It's a completely pointless number. The year of our Lord, 2021. It's more like year 13.8 to the whatever power. Yeah. Whatever. It's the 13.787 billionth year, my dudes. Yeah. Isn't that weird? Dude, I don't know if that's a plane. I think that might be the fucking chopper from earlier. I think the chopper... Dude, I think the chopper's coming to get me, eh? Feeling like Ray Liotta at the end of Goodfellas. Staring up at that chopper. See, there it is. I fucking, every time I've left the house today, that fucking chopper has been right overhead. Stir the sauce, Jimmy. They're coming after my grow patch, where they're going to be mad disappointed, because unless there's one hiding somewhere on the property, I ain't got one. Notice more military choppers. I don't know if it's a military chopper. If it swings back around this way, I'll try and get a look at what kind of chopper it is. But it's some kind of fucking chopper. The ghetto bird is out today. Why is everything blue today? I'm blue, da boo dee da boo da, da boo dee da boo da, da boo dee da boo da. I'm blue, da boo dee da boo da. Yep. Run, run, run from the ghetto bird. That is from my favorite Ice Cube album and one of my favorite rap albums of the 90s, Lethal Injection. If you haven't heard it, you should pop it in, because every goddamn song pretty much on that album is a booty clapper. They're all good. Oh yeah, 100% classic. An underrated classic in my opinion. Run, run, run from the ghetto bird. I have to pee. Sit there, don't move. Don't go anywhere. Don't be stupid. So you know what? I'm going to come to you guys for advice on something. I have a question that you can help me with. This is not going to make any sense, and trust me, it makes no sense to me either. But hear me out. We're doing an episode today. We're filming an episode. And it's a Scotty episode. And Scotty has told me and TJ that we must have fried chicken for the episode. He has not specified what kind of fried chicken, other than it needs to be fried chicken. Now, you guys know me and my hang up with chicken on the bone. And I've looked at my options around here to get things that aren't chicken on the bone, and it's pretty much reduced to KFC. So this is a KFC question. What's the best shit at KFC that's chicken, but that isn't their normal, like, chicken parts in a bucket? Like, what kind of thing should I be looking to get? The tenders? Is there different kinds of them? Or the popcorn chickens? Yeah. Because, okay, so here's what he said. He said, for whatever reason, it has to be crispy. He wants it to be really crispy. So do they do like a super duper crispy version? Do they still have like extra crispy tenders or whatever the fuck? Because I can't do meat on the goddamn bone. Because that's all he specified, was that it had to be fried chicken and it had to be crispy. So can you get, what would you guys, so you guys think the tendies? All right. I didn't know what they, like, dude, because I got to tell you guys, I haven't eaten at a KFC in probably fucking like 15 or 20 years. It's not a place I order from. I haven't been in one. I think I had some KFC sides one night because everybody, when we all lived in the tender box together, I think everybody went in on some chicken, and I woke up and I was like, ugh, there's a big bucket of chicken, but they also got a big bunch of sides. So I had some like biscuits and like mashed potatoes and gravy and shit, but I have not had anything from a fucking KFC that I ordered in probably 10 or 15 years. So I've got to order that shit at some point today. Speaking of, you guys can help me out again, I guess, because I don't have a watch and I'm on what I usually use to tell time. And if I use it to tell time, it's going to pause the stream and cause you guys to lag. So what time is it Central right now? Like right now. Central or Mountain or whatever the fuck. Okay. It's noon. It's noon. So it's 1:26 Eastern. Okay. That lets me suss out about what time it is. Thank you. The world's largest COVID-19 vaccine manufacturer is currently burning with 5 people dead. Really? How did that happen? Is that true? Is that a meme or is that true? Is that a true thing that's happening right now in the world? Is that the largest COVID-19 vaccine maker is burning? The fuck is it burning? It's in India? Yeah, that's a big, gigantic fucking deal. That's a ridiculous deal, if true. Oh, fuck. That can't be coincidental. I mean, it can be. It's India. Yeah, exactly. So it definitely can be. Bhopal 2.0. Yeah, dude, you got to know about Bhopal. Most people don't know about Bhopal, dude. But you want to know some even deeper lore where the Indian people got fucked over by an American corporation? Look up Dobhal. Dobhal was an investment made by the American company Enron in the energy market in India. They built this giant power production facility in India that was supposed to modernize the Indian power grid, and then charged prices that nobody in India could afford to pay. And so now it's just a big stinking ruin. Enron, say no more, yep. I have a random audio recording of a Highdeology from 3 years ago. Cool. It's weird to think that I've been doing this shit for that long. How did my hairline survive 40 years? I don't know. I lucked out, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Nobody, no men that I'm directly related to have gone bald. That's just the way it is. My grandfather on my mother's side, which is the one that's supposed to be the biggest indicator for you. So my grandfather on my mother's side is supposed to be the biggest indicator for male pattern baldness in a man. So if you want to know if you're going to be bald, take a look at your mom's dad. My mom's dad died with a full head of hair. Another minor indicator for your male pattern baldness can be your father's father and your father, of course. My dad is in his 70s now, his early 70s, I think, or very late 60s. I can't suss it out in my head just now. He's either like 69 or 70 now, and he's got a full head of hair. My grandpa on his side of the family died with a full fucking head of hair. So that's just the way it is, dude. I lucked out. I won, and I don't even really care. It's sad because it's kind of wasted on me. Like, I like having hair and I like being able to do things with it, but if I started going bald, I would just go bald. I would keep my head bicked down and shit. I like the way I look like that. So, like, it's sad that I have good hair and there's a lot of dudes out there that really agonize over their hair, and I wouldn't be one of those dudes. Like, if I started going real bald or whatever, I would just shave it down. I'd be fine with it. Also, if you see balding, do a full blood test to see if you're vitamin deficient. My bro's diet is causing him to lose hair. That might be true for a lot of people. Some people just get fucked. I had friends in high school that had beginning male pattern baldness, like had receding hairlines in high school at 16, 17, 18 years old. So, beauty standards suck. I mean, they're definitely personal from person to person. Like, I'm not trying to dog on a dude. There are guys that, like, they really tie their hair to their virility or whatever, and they don't want to look old. And it's just like, I've never had that fear. I actually want to look old. I've enjoyed the way that I look the more that I age. You know, not necessarily in a narcissistic way, but just like, it feels comfortable to me. It feels like what I feel like on the inside. So I like it, you know. But that's not how a lot of people feel about their own, like, personal, standard of looks or whatever. And it's unfortunate because it really is a meaningless fucking thing. Like, a dude going bald can do the Picard sometimes. There's a number of hairstyles that look perfectly fine on a dude that's bald. Shave your head all off. You know what I mean? You got options, and it really doesn't fucking matter. But it's one of those things that a lot of guys feel like, I think, self-conscious about, and there's really no point. You're going deep into wigs if you go bald. I wouldn't do that, dude. You want to take a look at what happens when you wear a wig and pretend you're not balding? Take a look at Howard Stern now, dude. Howard Stern is in a 100% wig every day of his fucking life, and he's still pretending like he has a fucking perfect head of jet black, luscious hair. He claims he doesn't even diet. Howard looks absolutely fucking ridiculous. He really does. Dude, go look it up, Vlad. Go just find a recent picture of Howard Stern and look at the fucking obvious wig he's got on his hair. His hair is iconic, yeah, but a wig of his hair is not iconic. His beard is white, yes. He's got a little beard now that he keeps, like a really close trimmed, stubbly beard, and that is completely gone white, but his hair is jet black still. You thought Howard Stern was dead? No. Howard Stern continues to sully his own fucking reputation by continuing to do a radio show that is a pale imitation, at best, of what it used to be. I'm telling you guys right now, the Howard Stern show back in the fucking late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s was a goddamn chainsaw of a show. It was crazy. I can't describe it to you guys because like the medium is even fallen out of favor. Like the talk radio show as a medium has fallen out of favor. Most people don't even really care to engage with it anymore. But I'm telling you, man, that show was fucking boundary pushing, badass, in your face, edgy as fuck, didn't give a shit about anything, disrespectful of authority. It was a punk as fuck show, dude. It really was. Like, the Howard Stern show had this era of fuck you about it that I've only ever really seen expressed similarly in punk. Can't believe what he did to Scott. His wife had cancer and he refused to promote the GoFundMe for her treatment. She died and then he fired him. Oh my God, dude. See, a lot of people don't know Howard Stern, and so they won't. I won't wax on and on about all the personalities on his show, but he has fundamentally mistreated pretty much everybody on his show except for Robin Quivers. Robin Quivers has always had carte blanche on his show and still continues to. She gets whatever the fuck she wants. But everybody else that's been with him, in some cases like Baba Booey, his fucking producer, has been with him for over 30 years. And he treats him like shit. Like, he makes him share an office with interns now. He doesn't even have his own place to go anymore. After 35 years of service and Howard Stern having an entire floor of the Sirius building as a compound, he can't find a fucking little closet that Baba Booey can have that's his own. Baba Booey shares a tiny little office with 2 interns now. Oh, he's a piece of shit. He is like Howard Stern used to be a guy that it was hard for him to get political interviews, and politicians, especially New York politicians, which I didn't grow up in New York, so I wasn't familiar with all the people that he would do it to, but he would have these like New York politicians come on his show, and he would fucking put the grill to them. He would not treat them with respect, and he would feud and fight with them, and a lot of the New York politicians saw it as a badge of honor necessary to get credibility with a lot of New Yorkers to go on fucking Howard Stern show and get your tit in a ringer. And he was great at it, man. He had no respect for fucking anybody. Well, that's not true. There were certain like comedy acts and musical acts, all of them usually brilliant. Guys like fucking, not George Carlin. What's his goddamn name? Howard used to have, I'm so bad with names and brain farting them these days. Sam Kinison. Yeah, he had a lot of respect for Carlin, for sure. But he used to have Sam Kinison on all the fucking time. Kinison, brilliant stand-up comedian. A compelling person to listen to talk to. I don't know. His show was just a riot. Like, it was great. It was hilarious. It was off-putting. It was strange. It was unusual. It was unlike anything else on the radio. He was just out there leading a field, tons of imitators of Howard Stern, but what he is now is just like this weird, I don't even know how it happened. This weird corporate shell of what he used to be. Hampton's Howie, dude. Just like all that money made him into a dude that like sucks up to fucking Ellen DeGeneres and shit now. Like he used to make fun of Ellen DeGeneres every day. And now he talks about how awesome Ellen DeGeneres is and how he loves watching her dance on her show. And he's just like a mainstream fucking... When did Howard start to suck? I mean, his show started to become unlistenable for me, and I don't think it was necessarily just Artie Lang, but right around when Artie Lang started to do heroin all the time. Howard's show became this really weird, insular show that was, I don't know, it was worrying to listen to. No, serious, dude. I will defend the early serious shows. If you go back, well, you can't. That's the thing, is a lot of those shows have been scrubbed, but you can find them. If you go back and listen to the 2006 serious shows that Howard was doing, they were pretty badass, dude. He still had a lot of things going for him. He had a great cast surrounding him. Had Artie in his top form. You know what I mean? Yeah, Artie Lang was on Mad TV. He's also in a movie with Norm Macdonald called Dirty Work. He also had a recurring role on The Norm Show, if you're familiar with that. Kind of short-lived, but pretty funny sketch comedy show based on the, kind of comedy stylings of Norm Macdonald. Yeah, dude, Artie is fucking amazing. He's a great guy. Really genuinely funny guy, good storyteller, just has a lot of demons, you know what I mean? But I think that's what drew a lot of people to him, was that he was a guy that was out there living a very risky lifestyle. But yeah, towards like right around the time where Artie was on heroin on every show, and the topic of the show was whether or not Artie was on heroin, that's when I had to tune out, and it wasn't long after that. I didn't tune completely out. It wasn't long after that Artie had a total meltdown on the show, tried to fucking beat the shit out of his assistant, and it wasn't long after that Artie was gone from the show. He attempted suicide, tried to stab himself to death, which is a fucking insane way to try and attempt suicide. And then he just disappeared from the show, and ever since then, I really haven't listened, because the show just so radically changed after that. And, I think some of it might have been because Howard felt some responsibility for enabling Artie. And maybe that's why he softened this show up and made it more corporate, is that he watched what happened to Artie as a result of having the basically unlimited money of being on the most popular radio show in the world, and having that as a way to shout out his gigs. And he watched how the show enabled Artie to just go down the fucking road of... I think it did traumatize him. I think a lot of people get it wrong when it comes to Howard Stern and how he feels about Artie Lang. I think people think that he fucked Artie over or whatever, and maybe he did, but I think he was genuinely fucking spooked by how close to a total fucking drug meltdown, death on the show, from the show just being an anything goes kind of environment. I think that spooked him. And what came out of it was this more corporate, less accessible, way less listenable piece of shit show that a lot of people don't even know exists. I was not an Opie and Anthony fan, though. I really, I like Anthony Cumia, but I can't fucking stand Opie. And so I've listened to Anthony Cumia's solo podcast a few times, and I think he's a pretty fun guy, but Opie and Anthony was generally unlistenable to me due to Opie, and sometimes, unfortunately, and I'll probably catch flack for this, Jim Norton. I like Jim Norton. I think he's a funny guy, but I can't hang with too much fucking Jim Norton. It gets on my goddamn nerves. And that, coupled with Opie, just really gave me no inroad to that show. going over my Zoomer sense of reference, I know. It's always hard. I like talking about shit like this, but I know that like 90% of the audience is going, "Oh, say who? Say what?" I don't know. I really think Jim Norton's a funny guy, but I just can't handle his fucking sense of humor in large doses, like him being on a fucking radio show. Bill Burr, he's another dude that I think is really funny, but his personality and delivery style and comedy style is really abrasive to me in large doses. Like I can't sit and fucking listen to tons and tons of Bill Burr like some people can. It's not even really about how abrasive he is. It's about how abrasive I perceive him, because, you know, it was the abrasiveness that drew me to guys like Carlin and Hicks. But I don't know. I don't have the reverence for those dudes that some people do. How about Norm Macdonald? I think Norm Macdonald is one of the quickest comedians in the world. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's great. That doesn't necessarily mean he's got the best stand-up or whatever, but I think he is one of the quickest comeback artists in the world. Like, he will drop a fucking one-liner that is so uniquely him during a conversation. I love that about Norm. I also love Norm's long, drawn-out, Andy Kaufman-esque stories that he tells with really lame punchlines and shit. You and DFF can be very abrasive, angry rants, etc., but that's why I and many others love the show and follow your work. Yeah, like I said, like I'm attracted to abrasive personalities, and I recognize that I am one. I mean, that's something that, at least I'll speak for myself, I bring to the show that's real. I'm not... I don't want to say I'm not an easy person to be friends with, because the people that I'm genuinely friends with, I think, benefit from my friendship. I'm a good friend. But I'm a prickly fucking guy. Like, I stand on my principle, and that sometimes means I act like an asshole in the eyes of others, and you got to put up with that if you want to be friends with me. It's just, I ain't changing. I'll tell you that much. This has always been true of me, and at some point you've just got to accept that you're kind of a prickly personality, you know? I'm hard to get to know, and I can be abrasive and off-putting and different ways to people, and I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not looking to make any more friends. I got plenty. You would say TJ is more abrasive. Maybe TJ is more outwardly abrasive, but knowing TJ in his personal life, I'll let you know that he's far from the most abrasive of the group of us. Far from it. They're also very chill and easy to talk to, though. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, there are people who can't look back. They can't look past the abrasion of being in my orbit, or listening to what I say, or hearing my takes on things. Because I don't really pull punches. Like, I say what I think, and I stand on principle, and I'm not easily kowtowed by a mob of people. In fact, the more people that align against me, you know, I'm one of those infuriating people that the more people that align against me, the more correct I think I am. The more assuredly I feel like I've chosen the right path. It's just stubbornness. Yeah, it sure the fuck is. Good old-fashioned obstinance, good old-fashioned standing on your fucking principle, good old-fashioned trusting your takes on things, and good old-fashioned righteous indignation. You're absolutely fucking right, bro. I'm a human being. I'm not an android. Bleep bloop. What is the most logical answer to this question? Allow me to do the trigonometry in my mind and compare it against my studies of 200-year-old political theory. Bleep, bloop, bleep, no. In other words, you're a blunt, stubborn, honest person, yes. I would like to think of myself that way, yes. And those are all three qualities that can be abrasive under the right circumstances to people. And there's some people to which it's really fucking abrasive. And I'm just a very annoying presence to them. And I couldn't tell you how little I give a fuck. Do you know how many people on this planet are annoying presences to me that I don't feel the need to fucking tell? I just avoid. I'm glad to be an annoying presence to some people. It's really what I think my presence is for, if it's for anything. I want to be an irritant in society. I want to be a gadfly in the Socratic tradition. I'm against complacency. I'm against comfort. The comfort of the easy road is not one that I like to walk when it comes to philosophy and political thought. And in fact, I think walking the political easy road has led to great fucking destruction the world over. And so I stand in opposition to that shit. And that's where I'm at. A rebel and a pioneer, yes. Dare I say, a genius, an underappreciated genius that will surely be appreciated after his time. No. I'm actually pretty fucking stupid, to be honest with you, but I'm smart enough to know what I think about things, and I'm smart enough to stand on principle. Watching you reading Ishmael, studying Jensen's philosophy has inspired me to finally go back to college, study environmental work so I can hopefully teach and write from an academic place. That's cool. That's awesome to hear. The fact that you're self-aware that you aren't the smartest person in the room is a leg up on most people. It would make no fucking sense for me to try and present myself as more intelligent than I am. I'm not, like, I don't think I'm a dullard. I don't think I'm completely uninformed. I don't think I'm completely incapable of rationalizing my ideas. But I don't think I'm all that fucking smart, to be honest with you, on the grand scale of things. Like, I've never taken the full-length IQ test, but if I had to estimate my IQ, it's probably somewhere right around whatever the mean is. You know what I mean? I don't know what the mean is. Is it 75 or 80 or 85 or 90, somewhere in there? Average is 100, then that's probably where right around where I'm at. I don't know anything about IQ. I don't really consider it, so I don't know. You know, I think that IQ is a blunt tool for assessing intelligence, but yeah, I would have to guess that my IQ would probably be right around the average. in that zone, and I would not be shocked if it was in that zone. Of course, nobody's fucking perfect. I try and make this fucking show a running example of that, and really I take more heat for my imperfection than anything. It's like, what do you want from me? I present myself, at least here, as a fucking human being. You know? It's a pretty bad measurement of general intelligence. Yes, I'm aware of that. You're either the best bullshit artist I know or way smarter than most people. I say this as a person who's considered by the school system to be a certifiable genius. A loathsome title. Yeah, no, dude, I'm no certifiable fucking genius. I struggled in school. Not with the English and history and the language arts and the liberal arts and shit, but I struggled with math and science, and particularly math. You know, I don't have good spatial IQ. I don't I'm horrible at puzzles and problem solving, things and equations and all that shit just fucking does. Well, I agree. I mean, I agree that genius comes in many forms. I agree. Which is why I think it's a pointless word to throw at somebody or to self-apply, because it's like, you know what I mean? There are so many different forms of genius. Like, for example, I think that a person that can fix any fucking car that pulls up in front of them is a fucking genius. I think that a person that is able to internalize the encyclopedic knowledge that it takes to fix any kind of vehicle or machine that sits in front of them is a genius. And that person may not be able to do math. That person may have a language score that's way lower than most people. That person may struggle in every other area in their life. Do you believe in racial differences in intelligence? Do I believe in them? As measured by what? See, intelligence is a fucking prickly subject, because I don't believe that intelligence is something that you can pull out a blunt tool and measure in people. Like, I think there are different types of intelligence that aren't addressed by the modern tools for measuring such. And so I really need a definition by which, like, when you say racial differences in intelligence, what are you talking about? Like I said, as measured by what? As measured by IQ? So do I believe the verifiable fact that different racial groups show differing scores on IQ tests? I guess the answer to that is yes. The question that I would have is, what does that mean to you? Because as I've just explained, IQ is all but meaningless to me as a measure of actual human intelligence. Yeah, blankies and mittens for Paul. Where are my blankies and mittens? Bernie has mittens that somebody wove for him, but I don't have any goddamn mittens that anybody wove for me. But I would have shared with Bernie. That's right. I would have taken this jacket right off of my back and put it on Bernie's shoulders or laid it across his lap and given him these gloves right off my hands to put underneath his mittens. Now, these gloves actually have touchscreen capability. I bought these because the pointer fingers and thumbs you can use on the touchscreen. So you can see how like the pointer finger has like a different kind of material than the middle finger and stuff does. Like it's made to conduct that whatever electricity that is needed to make connection with the phone. And it works okay. But the finger holes, dude, then my fingers would just be cold. We had like a couple of days where it really warmed up here, and then it just got cold as fuck again. Paul, what's that umbrella behind you? An umbrella. Hope that clears it up. A weird fucking question. Yeah, you asking me for the make and model or whatever? Like, what are you... Maybe IQ is real after all. Maybe he really likes the umbrella. I don't know. It's just a weird question. What is that mysterious umbrella-like a device that you have back there, Paul's ego? Why, it's an umbrella. Nonsense. Didn't ruin my mood. I'm actually kind of mirthful because of that. It was fun. It was kind of funny. My mood is okay. There's so many like little theories about like what my mood is and what I need to do in this fan community, to the point where it's like not just this fan community, but like the wider Pessimist Productions fan community. And it's just like, man, I've got like at least 200 armchair psychologists monitoring my fucking mental state at any given moment of the day. It's pretty awesome, you know. I'll know exactly when I go nuts, you know, because all the fucking untrained armchair psychologists are going to tell me exactly what's going on in my life. I read a screed the other day, I think it was on the Reddit, about how fucking stressed out I am. And like the truth in my life is since moving, I've been less stressed than I have in years. Like I feel better now than I have in years in a general sense. It's like, what translates out of that for people apparently is like, Paul is worse than he's ever been. It's like, all right. Hello, D. A good morning to you and good morning to you. Did I leave enough coffee for you to get a cup?
Did.
All right, good.
Just warmed it up.
Yeah, mine
It's
is.
your fault because I was just
No,
slipping in.
No, you were out. I wasn't about to. Dude, I tried everything, dude. I had a last talk with Cricket this morning.
Yeah.
I picked him up. I took him into your room and I put him up on the windowsill and I was like, dude, you gotta leave mom alone. Gotta let her sleep in. He didn't wake me up. I just kind of fucking got up.
Yeah.
But he was like, as soon as I got up, he wanted to come and start bothering you. I shoot him away from the door a couple of times, and then finally I picked him up. And I didn't lock him in your room because there's no way to do that. Your door doesn't actually close.
Yeah.
But I put him in there, and like I came back and checked when I went in to go pee, and he was still sitting right where I set him. So maybe he heard me. Maybe you got through to him.
Yeah.
Dionor's usually okay. Like, he usually just wants to... If one of us is asleep, he wants to be in with us.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't bug.
But he bugs when he's first laying down. Mm-hmm. Dionor, to get his comfy spot, it kind of bugs, but you get used to it. Like, he has to root around a little bit on the bed, and then eventually he just plops down and he's basically goes to sleep. Cricket, on the other hand, will start so snuggly and so cute and just so under the covers and just with his little paw, head tucked under his paw and sleeping. And then, like, you'll be dead ass asleep at fucking, like, 4 a.m. And Cricket will be in your face with his little paw, like... You shake him off a couple of times, go back to sleep, and then he'll be right back, like... Dude, the other morning, not hard, but he bit Amelia on the fucking nose. It wasn't hard, but he just, like, opened his mouth and was like, I would put my mouth on your nose. And that was what got her up. She was finally like, what the fuck? Okay. It's like, what are you doing? He's in his rebellious teen years. I guess so. How old is Cricket?
He will be 3, I think.
So he's turning 3?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Dionor's 5, but he's 6.
No, he's 5.
He is? I thought he was born in 2015.
No, 2016.
Okay. Then he had the wrong thing on the bet thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, Dionor is 5.
Okay.
I did the math in my head for his birthday. And he's 5. Because 6 sounded harsh to me. I was like, dude, I can't believe it. I haven't had Dionor in a fucking 6.
Wrong.
Yeah, they just put his birth date in wrong. Or maybe I took him one time and just fucking guessed at it or some shit. I'm really bad with dates, you know me. Yeah. Time, like, have you noticed that with me? That time is kind of meaningless a lot of the times with me. Like, I'll say something happened like a week ago that happened 6 months ago, or I'll say something happened 6 months ago that happened a week ago.
Yeah. Your favorite word is the other day.
The other day, yeah. It is weird. Time is a piece of wax falling on a termite that's choking on the splinters. That is true. You got a good point, Marshall. Time is a flat circle. The black star. Dude, soy? And you've got a MAGA hat in your avatar? That's a time. That's a time. Dude, I've been generous twice today. There are 2 people that normally I would have banned that have just gotten timed. Momentarily decaffed. Actually, move to the back of the line, and then in 300 seconds, he can continue sipping his caffeinated coffee. His MAGA hat says loser on it. Oh. Still, though, there's a MAGA hat in his fucking thing. Timed. I thought maybe it was a lighting shade. I would have said it earlier, but I was in timeout. You got timed out for asking about my umbrella. Under my umbrella. He asked, hey, Paul, what's that umbrella? Yeah, it's like one of those patio umbrellas, bro. Like, it's bent. You can bend a little bit so you can angle it if you're sitting out and you want to block the sun and make a little shady spot. So we got that back when we lived in Louisiana because Amelia and I love sitting outside together. But the sun would hit our porch from like 7 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Yeah, and during the summer, that's
It's
untenable.
it's untenable and to be right in the direct sunlight in Louisiana in the middle of summer. So we got that fucking thing, and it made the porch usable for us again. But yeah, it's just, we got it on Amazon. It's just like a little fucking patio umbrella with a table that has a hole in the middle of it that holds it up. It's like a little tiny table. Easy to move around and shit, and maneuver and block the sun if you need to. Definitely worth having if you have an outside area you like to sit in. Do you think if the GOP nominee in 2024 is black, it will bamboozle the liberal ID poll? No. I don't think that most people on the left, be they just normal libs or radical leftists, will be bamboozled because there's a black man that is a Republican. I think there's plenty of those already.
One of them's just dead.
Yeah.
Herman Cain.
Yeah, Herman Cain, yeah. Poor, should have known better Herman Cain that could have not gotten COVID but decided to get it anyway and died from it. And people are still anti-maskers. Surging cases, 400,000 deaths, mediocre vaccine rollout. Joe's first action today before getting a stimulus. Let's reopen schools. Yeah, good idea.
Because that means more people are working.
Yep. That means more people are working and more parents can go back to work because their kids aren't at home all day, and less impetus for us having a stimulus because people that are going back to work don't need a stimulus. So let's get them schools reopened. You know those schools that were already petri dishes? You know those schools that when I worked at the fucking public school system, I was sick like once a month with the croup, basically, because kids are just like little virus transfer agents and they sneeze and blow boogers and snot on everything that they fucking touch and interact with. And then the teachers get it and spread it around to each other, and then they spread it to you because their shit is filthy and covered in it. Yeah, let's reopen that in the middle of COVID before we've gotten a full vaccine rollout. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for yet again pleasing Economos. People are all cheering Joe. He put a mask mandate on federal land. How about a nationwide public mask mandate, Joe? How about actually addressing the problem? No, just when you walk on a federal fucking piece of land, huh? Okay, well, that should stop it.
And there's a lot of that, but there's also a lot of state land, too.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of people are chilling in the fucking Library of Congress right now. There's not a lot of people congregating out in front of the Lincoln Memorial, but I guess that's going to help. He did a bunch of fucking presidential signing statements and executive orders. It's like, yes, now he does have the power. Because over the last 3 or 4 presidencies, especially the Obama presidency, we saw a massive increase in executive orders and that power being used by the president to directly circumvent Congress and institute basically legislation that normally would have required consensus by Congress. So yes, he has massive, sweeping, implied powers backed by the Supreme Court to do what we call executive orders. He can also declare war without declaring war. You can thank George W. Bush for finally putting the nail in that final war powers coffin. Before George W. Bush, if a United States president wanted to go to war somewhere, he had to get the consent of Congress and get a war declaration. And then George W. Bush came along and basically murdered that idea. And so now a president can declare war and invade a country without a congressional declaration of war as an executive action.
Yeah, Marshall is low on the priorities as reversing the transgender ban on the military is. It'll probably be the biggest story if it does happen.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to miss it.
No.
It's just not super important right now.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a shit. Really surprised Trump didn't do more damage with that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Executive orders?
Oh, the executive order shit. He probably did plenty of damage. So will Biden.
Yeah, there's also a lot of committee jockeying and secretary jockeying. Like the biggest thing he did before he left was having the Department of Health and Human Services or whatever mess up gay people adopting, but that doesn't go through any sort of legislative process. It's just
the law of the land.
The committee or whatever fucking doing its thing.
I don't know. It's a total ridiculous farce that, this shit isn't addressed by the last president. And it's a total ridiculous farce that people are making excuses for it not being directly and immediately addressed by this one. What radical thing would Biden do to make you support him? Let's see. Let's go to fantasy land here and come up with something. If Biden on his first day in office signed an executive order calling for the immediate plans to be drawn up for the drawdown of every American troop overseas and the reappropriation of the money that is required to maintain those surreptitious bases overseas to infrastructure in the United States and a new work program that'll put millions of people that are out of work building and maintaining bridges, roads, overpasses, inner cities, etc. If he did something like that on day one, I would immediately be like, okay, well, I was fucking wrong. But that's a total fucking pipe dream.
Erasing medical debt would be another good one.
Yeah, erasing medical debt. Not a moratorium on payments on medical debt, but a complete erasure of anybody that's in a certain amount of medical debt or above. A complete erasure of student loan debt. If he did any of these things, I would go like, oh, that'd be an eyebrow raiser to me.
But so far, he's pushing the student loan thing until October.
He's doing the same thing that fucking Trump did when he came in office. His first order of office is to rescind a bunch of shit that fucking Trump did. Well, lottie frickin' da. You know what I mean? People are still fucking without vaccines during a pandemic. School children are still without a decent education.
It's like we have
the stock market is still hyperinflated.
We should be in the best position to vaccinate because we just did the census. We know where everyone is roughly.
There's no excuse for our fucking shitty vaccination rollout other than it's not a priority to the elite to get us fucking inoculated. You notice all of them have been inoculated. We've got all these wonderful, postings and memes of all these important, quote-unquote important people getting the vaccine to try and encourage us to get them. 90% of us can't get them. So it comes off more like a flex than anything. Look at me. I'm important enough to get my vaccine. I'm a pop star. I'm a personality. Look at me, guys. I'm a millionaire/billionaire, and I'm getting my vaccine. So 6-8 months from now, when another 50,000 of you have died, make sure you get yours.
Well, it's I understand priorities, but you could probably rely on the honor system. We kind of rely on the honor system anyways.
Why the fuck are the rich prioritized?
Yeah.
Why have I seen pop stars and rock stars and shit getting vaccines?
Pay to get ahead of the line. We really can't have an honor system of I'm high risk. I work in people facing jobs.
No. I mean, the rich as fuck politicians got the vaccine. Yes, a bunch of people have gotten the vaccine. Politicians, not politicians. And I don't understand why it's any more important to protect those fucking politicians than it is my mother.
It's like they're essential workers, but they can take a break whenever they want.
Just ridiculous, dude. Yeah, Cardi B, for some reason, was important enough to get a fucking vaccine already. Like, I'm sorry, I like her music and shit, but I don't think it entitles her to skip to the fucking head of the line for a vaccine in the middle of a deadly pandemic. But that's the world we live in. And the rest of us get to jerk off for the next 5-6 months. Because guess what? We don't have $1 million, and we don't have fucking attorneys that can make anything happen for us. And we don't got the connections.
I mean, it'd be slightly better if it's like, oh, I get vaccinated and then all my fans do too.
Right.
Like I have like a vaccine.
A bunch of sports ball guys are getting vaccinated. Mm-hmm. It's like, why are sports ballers getting vaccinated before normal people? Cancel the sports ball until everybody's vaccinated and then let the sports ballers get it at the same time as everybody else. It's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, they're almost done with the whole last season. Like...
And then a new season of another different kind of sports ball is going to start, though.
Yeah.
Vaccinate all the sports ballers. Ridiculous. Of course, it's all about money. Of course it's money, you dolt. No. Whatever. Maybe I should just tell you guys when I'm sick of a topic. I'm sick of this topic. Sick of talking about COVID. Let's move on. Let's find something else to fucking discuss.
Dinor.
Could discuss Dinor. Mm-hmm. There's so much to discuss.
Chelsea sent me some tips for trimming his eyebrows.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay.
He probably needs a bath anyways.
He's probably due. He's not super stinky.
No, he hasn't been as dirty.
Right, Dinor cuteness. 1 million out of 10. He's 1 million out of 10 cute. Isn't that right, teddy bear? Isn't that right, teddy bear?
He's so scary.
He's a scary Dinor. He's a spooky wookie, crazy Dinor. You got to get the people of proper breeding first. What?
We're done with the vaccines. Done.
Yeah. We're moving on. Paul, which countries will America invade during the next stage of the resource wars? I mean, I don't know. Look to the Middle East, probably. I would say Iran is probably on the table. I would say escalations in both Syria and Libya are on the table. I would say an incursion into Turkey or a mass increase in our military presence there for use as a base is on the table. I mean, I'd look to that area of the fucking world. Re-escalation of Afghanistan. I mean, all these fucking places are on the table, in my opinion. Not just oil-rich countries, mineral-rich countries. Water-rich countries. Countries that have an abundance of foliage. Countries that have an abundance of fucking farmland. Countries that have an abundance of anything. Just look for abundance. And that's where you can expect the resource wars to expand to as they grow and spread. Latin America, here we come. Latin America, here we already are. Yeah. We've had multiple military incursions into Latin America and exert enormous economic pressure on that area of the world. They're basically under our thumb.
I think we'll finally have that Brazil war that they've predicted in like post-apocalyptic movies.
The Brazil war? I don't know. I don't think it'll come to that. I think most of these countries will go out with a whimper. I mean, the economic domination, the economic choke chain we keep around these countries, and the absolute brutality that we treat them with, should any of their government try and step out of that and reassert autonomy over their own fucking natural resources, it'll go down with a whimper. That's how we handle things in South America. America has become really good at infiltrating and deposing systems of government in various South American, Central American countries. We've gotten real fucking good at it. We get a radical leader that wants to do too much for his people, which means taking tax money and tax breaks back from American corporations who are benefiting in one part or another from the local logging industry or the local pineapple industry or whatever the fuck it is. Guess what happens? That dude ends up with a bullet hole in his head. That dude ends up being labeled an enemy of the people, a socialist, radical revolutionary that's starving his own people. Meanwhile, the people in his country are starving because of the embargoes that America has put on it. Has nothing to do with the leftist leader that was appointed. But let's blame it all on the leftists, demonize the leftists, and if we can get the chance to discreetly put a bullet in that motherfucker's head and replace him with Jair Bolsonaro 2.0. I mean, that's the dream. That's why I don't think the Brazil war is going to happen, because Bolsonaro is the American dream for a Latin American president and a South American fucking presence.
I think it is like Jair, because Portuguese has a J.
Is it Jair or Jair? I don't know how it's fucking pronounced. All I know is that South America, Central America, and Mexico have been America's little economic playground forever. We have that whole area of the world on a corporate choke chain that we can yank at any fucking time. Well, I remember when Dave Rubin did a video for the Brazilian government praising Bolsonaro. Of course he did, because, you know, he's a leftist. Every leftist should love Bolsonaro, the corporate nightmare that's currently slashing and burning the Amazon rainforest into oblivion to make room for more factory farms. Yeah. Ooh. Well, I'm done. Thanks for stopping by and whatnot. Have a good day. Whoa. Can I even push the button? There we go.